Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, November 30th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, our feasts today take us, to begin with, to Italy, on the coast of Genoa, the city of Genoa. In Italy, Father Orsini says that it is the feast of Our Lady of Genesta. According to his redaction, he says that the shrine of Our Lady of Genesta is on the coast of the city of Genoa in Italy, and it started because of a poor woman, Petruccia, who decided to build a church in Mary's honor. Of course, being poor, it seemed like an impossible task. However, she laid the cornerstone and assured everyone that she would not die until the Blessed Virgin and St. Augustine finished this work. Now, in all fairness, we have to say, after doing the research, we can't seem to find a shrine of Our Lady of Genesta anywhere, or even a city by the name of Genesta, be it near Genoa or somewhere else. However, it seems that maybe what Father Orsini is getting at is the story of a woman named Petruccia, which is true, and her work associated with the Church of Our Lady of Ganazzano, right? This Petruccia was a third-order Augustinian, and she wanted to restore a church that was under the care of the hermits of St. Augustine, right? Petruccia wasn't a poor woman. On the contrary, she had been left a good deal of money when her husband died in 1436, and she decided to use that money to restore the church because she spent a lot of time there in prayer. She had a great plan made, and work was begun, but she didn't actually have enough money to finish it. So what happened? Well, just like the Bible recounts, people made fun of her. They said that she wasted her money. Even her friends turned their backs on her. But she would just answer, "My children, do not put too much importance on this apparent misfortune. I assure you that before my death, the Blessed Virgin and our Holy Father Augustine will finish the church begun by me." Okay. And Petruccia was rewarded. So on the 25th of April, 1467, in the middle of the afternoon, there was a crowd that had begun to gather in front of this unfinished church of our Mother of Good Counsel, when all of a sudden they started to hear music that seemed to be coming from a cloud that came down upon the church. The cloud stopped against one wall of the church, and the bells began to ring. And then when the little cloud dissipated, it revealed a beautiful image of Our Lady, holding her divine Son in her arms, right? The painting was hovering in the air, and though it didn't move, it wasn't attached to the wall, right? So the image remains to this day, obviously not hovering. I assume they brought it into the church. And then because of that, out of recognition of this great miracle, the visitors gladly gave the money needed to complete the church. So we can also head down to Mexico, into Guadalajara, where today we celebrate the original installation of the image of San Juan de los Lagos at her shrine. The shrine story begins in 1542, when a Spanish priest by the name of Father Miguel de Bologna brought a statue of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception into the village. Now, the town was called at that time San Juan Mezquitlan Baptiste, but later the name was changed to San Juan de los Lagos in 1623. According to local legends, that year, 1623, the daughter of some local peasants fell ill, and her parents prayed for her health, and the girl recovered. And so because of that miracle, the statue began to be venerated by an increasing number of pilgrims, be them indigenous peoples, Spanish, or mestizos. And it was during this time that the statue ceased to be known just as an image of the Immaculate Conception, but rather acquired its own identity as San Juan de los Lagos, right? Our Lady of San Juan de los Lagos. And so, for many years, from the early 17th century to the middle of the 19th century, a pilgrimage was held every year on November 30th to celebrate that original installation of the statue in the shrine. So for today's reading from The Admirable Heart of Mary by St. John Eudes, we continue with our consideration that the saint gives to us, considering the heart of Mary as imaged or symbolized by the sun. The solar sun has been in perpetual motion since its creation in space, and it travels so rapidly that mathematicians calculate its speed to be over 1 million leagues an hour. Similarly, the Holy Heart of Mary, from the moment of her Immaculate Conception, has been completely kept in motion by love for God and charity towards mankind. As long as Mary, the admirable Son of light and purity, was on earth, She sped, or rather flew with such celerity on the path of sanctity that the speed of our material sun is simply a shadow and a figure by comparison. For this holy sun, Mary's Immaculate Heart, progressed incomparably farther in the mystical and supernatural way of the world of grace than the material sun, which revolves around our visible world. Obviously, he's relying on the science of his day. Sacred Scripture teaches us that the sun is the tabernacle of God. He has set his tabernacle in the sun. This is infinitely more true of the heart of the Blessed Virgin Mary. St. Ambrose applies these words to her, and we should refer them especially to her heart, in which God resides more gloriously and works far greater wonders than in the sun of any universe. I hear the Eternal Father pronounce that the throne of his only begotten Son is like to a sun before his face. His throne is as the sun before me. That's Psalm 88, verse 38. What is this throne of Christ, if not the heart of his dearest mother, which is therefore the ever-brilliant sun shining before the Father of lights? If the material sun radiates its light, heat, and influence over all the living things on earth, still more does this mystical sun, the heart of Mary, make its holy light, divine warmth, and celestial influence felt everywhere in heaven and earth, over men and angels. There is no one who can hide himself from its heat. That's Psalm 18, verse 7. The earthly sun gladdens with its rays the inhabitants of the lowly world. The heavenly sun enriches the whole universe with its great and boundless charity towards all God's creatures. Gaudium annunciat universo mundo. It is the consolation of the suffering souls in purgatory, the joy of the faithful on earth, the exaltation of the angels and saints in heaven, and the delight of the most holy Trinity. St. Germanus of Constantinople calls the heart of Mary the happiness of the entire world, commune mundi gaudium. And St. John Damascene says that it is an ocean of inexhaustible delight, gaudi pleagus inexhaustum. For today's Marian meditation, taken from the book by Ildefonso Villar, we once again consider the Nativity of Our Lady. This is meditation 12. And once again, Father Ildefonso will ask us to consider joy. If the joy of God and of the angels in the Nativity of Mary was great, ours shall be no less, because after all, our Blessed Mother was born especially for us. She has our own nature, and it is we who are to enjoy the benefits of that happy birth. So first, our joy. The birth of our Heavenly Mother is the end of a sad night, a night of centuries during which mankind was buried. Isaiah says that men were submerged in the shadows of death, since sad indeed is the night of sin, and nothing can be compared with it so well as the black and horrible darkness of death. See mankind filing past without seeing a ray of light in the midst of that darkness. How sad is night! What then would be a night of many years, of many centuries? In the midst of this night there used to shine a few holy souls, but in comparison with the surrounding darkness, their light was as nothing. The darkness could not be dispelled. When the night was pitch dark, and the light of the stars cannot be seen, we cannot take one safe step. We grope and labor under the fear of stumbling over something. But if in the darkness we see the light of the dawn, a light which spreads every minute, increasing in clarity and light, then we feel joy. A joy completed when at length the sun fully shines. So it was when Mary appeared in the darkness of death. She was the sweet twilight heralding the dawn of God, a promise of the divine sun which would soon appear to cast its rays on the whole earth. As the light of dawn rises in the east, the animals of the forest hide themselves in their dens, while nocturnal birds flee away. Instead, the innocent little birds of the air chirp and sing. The flowers open and give forth their perfume, while all things are clad in gorgeous colors. So it was when Mary was born. The devils flee, the angels sing, virtues flourish, and the whole world is filled with light and joy. How beautiful and magnificent was the morning of our redemption.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.